Most people don't realize that they're in a toxic environment until they're already deep in it. And even then, you can't quite believe that people are actually this calculated, this deliberate, this cruel. So you tell yourself, I can manage it. Maybe you work harder. Maybe you stay later. You give more benefit of the doubt than anyone ever should. And slowly, without even realizing it, you start to shrink. You should know that you were not randomly selected, you were specifically chosen. And by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly why they picked you. And that knowledge alone is going to start to give you back your power. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to spot them, how their playbook works, and why it works so devastatingly well on the most talented, empathetic, high-achieving women in the room. Let's fucking go. Hi, I'm Stacy, and I want to share with you something that happened to me. I was hired for an executive senior level position, a dream job, visibility, high stakes, client meetings, travel, bringing in new business. I was given the runway to make it my own, and I did. I killed it. I was closing deals. I was renewing contracts. I was building relationships with the clients who trusted me. A couple of years in, things started to shift, slowly at first. A few meetings I used to lead, they were suddenly canceled or diverted. Clients who had been calling me directly were now calling my boss. And then came that dreaded restructure. They brought in somebody above me to do a role that I was already doing. But when I asked about it, I was told I wasn't even being considered for it. And that year, I closed $4 million in business. And when I brought that number up to the table to fight for my position, it didn't even matter, not even a little bit. Because somewhere along the way, I took the shine off my boss. They called it organizational strategy. I called it devastating. I really wish someone had shown me back then what was happening. But through my own experience and after years of coaching many women through this exact scenario, I can tell you with total certainty that there is a playbook. And today I'm going to walk you through that playbook so you can finally see what you're dealing with. This isn't just a video about recognizing toxic behavior, though we are definitely going to cover that. You are going to walk away with two things. Number one, you're going to understand the specific tactics that they use to keep you confused, small, and dependent. You are going to see their entire playbook clearly, maybe for the very first time. And number two, and this might be a little hard to hear, you are going to understand why it worked on you. Not because you were weak or naive, but because of how capable and empathetic and driven you actually are. They saw it, they needed it, and then they went to work. Having this knowledge is power. I want to give you a little bit of background that I've learned through my own hard experiences and through some excellent resources that I've discovered along the way. I'm going to list them down below for you so you can check them out if you want. First and foremost, this is not about a job title. It doesn't matter whether someone is your boss, your peer, your biggest client, or maybe somebody in your own home. Narcissism is a psychological pattern, and while there is a wide spectrum that is too complex for this single video, here are some highlights that I really need you to know. The traits, the tactics, and the damage that they inflict are identical, regardless of the role that person is playing. What changes simply is the playground and the specific tools that they have available to them to manipulate that playground. And at the center of every single toxic person that we are going to talk about today, there are three core drivers. Number one, fragile self-esteem. I know they don't look very fragile. They look confident, charming, in control, really smart. But underneath that facade is an internal sense of worthlessness. They are desperately trying to cover that up every single day. Number two, a desperate need for validation. Your praise, your compliance, your output. They cannot regulate their own emotions without that. That is why they need you. Number three, they do not see you as a full human being. To them, you are one of three things: a tool to be used, an obstacle to be removed, or an audience to applaud them. That's it. That's the entire relationship from their side. Feels kind of gross, huh? And it's incredibly hard for an empathetic mind, such as yours and mine, to wrap ourselves around that. But their behavior is not random. It follows a repeating cycle, a universal playbook designed to extract one thing: narcissistic supply. That's the attention, the admiration, the control, and the emotional reaction that they require to function. And once you realize everything that they do is in service of that one need, the confusion in your mind starts to clear. Now, I know what you might be thinking right now. Okay, this sounds a little extreme. My situation isn't that bad. Maybe my boss is just under some pressure. Maybe my coworker is just competitive. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it. You're being too sensitive. For the love of God, listen to me, please. That instinct, that urge to minimize, to give the benefit of the doubt, to be fair, to talk yourself out of what is actually being experienced, that's not your wisdom talking. That's the playbook working on you right now while you watch this video. These people are extraordinarily skilled at making you question your own reality. That isn't an accident. That's the entire point. So before we jump in, I'm asking you and inviting you to stay open. You don't have to be certain yet. Just be willing to be curious and open to a possibility that maybe it's not you. It's them. So now I want you to think about people in your daily work life, your boss, your colleagues, maybe a key stakeholder or client. Toxic behavior isn't always loud or obvious. In reality, the most dangerous people in the office are the ones that blend right in. Let's talk about the boss. They hold the keys to your entire career, your reviews, your visibility, your promotions, projects. The power imbalance makes this brutal because the very person tasked with advocating for you is actively dismantling you, quietly, strategically, all while claiming to be in your corner. The coworker. Without a formal power dynamic, this one sneaks up on you. They're a peer, maybe even someone you trusted. But behind the scenes, they're quietly undermining your credibility and confidence. By the time you realize what's happening, the damage may already be done. And the stakeholder. Most overlooked threat because they don't manage you directly, but they hold massive influence. They shape how your work is framed in side conversations and high-stake meetings, leaving you unsure of how to respond to someone who isn't even in your org chart. The bottom line, none of this is accidental. They aren't just stressed or overworked or having a bad year. This is a deliberate, calculated pattern, and it's been working for them for years. Now I want to share with you how. But I want to be very, very clear about something. What I just walked through, talked about with you, that's not the whole story. These are just highlights, the major patterns to look for and things to start paying attention to. If this is resonating with you, I've linked some resources down below that will go in much deeper into these dynamics because this particular topic deserves so much more than just one or two videos. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive, and you are certainly not imagining it. I wasn't, you aren't. What you are experiencing is real. It's documented, and it happens to sharp, capable, high-achieving women every single day. Women just like you. That gut feeling that something is deeply wrong, trust it. Because in the next section, I'm going to show you what this playbook looks like in action. The daily tactics that they use to keep you confused, keep you small, and keep you right where they want you, under their thumb. Now that you can spot who they are, let's talk about how they operate. Let's call it the Narcissistic Playbook. Because whether it's your boss, your coworker, stakeholder, or somebody in your house, the tactics don't change. It's the same playbook. It's just different players. So 3 master patterns that I want you to watch out for. Number 1, the hero-victim cycle. They're always either the brilliant hero who saves the day, or they are the mistreated victim targeted by jealous haters. always. They are never just an equal colleague who made a normal human mistake. It seems harmless on the surface, but it is deeply weaponized. Pattern 2, boundary testing. They start small. A late night text, a slightly rude comment, an unreasonable favor slipped in casually. They aren't being careless, they're probing. The moment you accept it, that boundary vanishes. You've just taught them what it is that you will tolerate. That can happen anywhere, by the way. Pattern 3, emotional hooking. They force you into extreme reactions, intense self-doubt, anger, frantic over-explaining. And here's the ultimate dead giveaway. If you've ever spent 2 hours drafting the perfect email to prove that you were right, you were already hooked. That's the trap, working exactly as it's designed. Now I want to name the 7 toxic tactics. Number 1, gaslighting. They rewrite history. They deny things that they clearly said, or they accuse you of being too sensitive, or maybe remembering it wrong. The goal is simple: make you distrust your own perception of reality. And it works because you're a reasonable person who genuinely considers if you make a mistake. That reasonableness is exactly what they are counting on. Number 2, isolation. They slowly and deliberately cut you off from your support system, your allies, your advocates, other coworkers. It happens so gradually that you don't notice until one day you look around and you realize, I am completely on my own. Again, no accident. An isolated target is a controlled target. Number 3, confusing feedback. Nothing you deliver is ever quite right. The feedback is vague, contradictory, and impossible to action out. And that's the point. If you're constantly trying to decode what they actually want, you become dependent on them for direction. You stop trusting your own judgment and you start waiting for their approval. Again, right where they want you. Number 4, triangulation. This is one of the most insidious tactics because it looks like friendship. It looks like they're looking out for you. They pull you aside. Hey, just between us. And they share some kind of a concern about a colleague or something in the office. It feels like trust, like you're an insider with them. But behind the scenes, they're extracting info, distorting it, and carrying it back to that colleague or boss with your name on it. Suddenly, your colleague is cold and you have no idea why. They created the friction. They positioned themselves as the mediator, and they kept you from comparing notes with the other person. You see how they pit people against each other. It's gross. Number 5, credit stealing and blame shifting. Your best work becomes their win. In the leadership meeting, your name is nowhere on that deck, but your exact words are coming out of their mouth. But the second the project misfires, you or the team is going to absorb the hit. They are never responsible. Their image is always protected, while yours is always at risk. Right? Go back to the hero-victim cycle. It's starting to make some sense for you. Number 6, moving the goalposts and unreasonable demands. You delivered exactly what was agreed upon, but now the ask changes. Again, the deadline moved. Again, the scope expanded. This keeps happening, not because they're disorganized, but because keeping you scrambling keeps you off balance. And off-balance people do not push back. And finally, number 7, covert sabotage and smear campaigns. This is the quietest, and it is the most dangerous. When they see you as a threat, they won't come for you directly. That would be too obvious. Instead, they drop subtle hints in quiet conversations with leadership, planting small seeds of doubt about your judgment or your attitude or your reliability. You won't even know that it's happening until you feel this shift, until the room changes, until opportunities stop coming your way, and you're left wondering why. So what does this look like in a day-to-day? I don't know, maybe in a team meeting. It looks like you presented a really well-searched, researched recommendation. They interrupt you mid-sentence. Right, but what you're missing, and I've been saying this all quarter, and then they repeat the exact point that you just made, but in a louder voice, if you correct them, they pivot instantly. Whoa, whoa, hey, let's keep it professional. No need to get emotional. You look unstable. They look composed. The meeting moves on and they just won that round. In a one-on-one, it sounds like this. Between you and me, the executive team wasn't really impressed with your last presentation, but I went to bat for you. Think about what just happened. They manufactured a threat, and then they positioned themselves as your savior. Remember, the hero. Now you're sitting there feeling grateful to somebody who literally invented a problem just to solve it for you. Or maybe it starts as a simple favor. Hey, you're so good at this. Do you mind taking a quick look before the 3 o'clock? And you say, sure, yeah, no problem, because it feels harmless. And then weeks later, they're dropping off a mess of unstructured notes in your inbox at 6:30 p.m. on a Thursday night. Hey, I need this client ready by 8 a.m. And when you finally draw the line and say no, you're the one that let the team down. What I encourage you to remember through all of this, the goal is never actually solving the work problem. It's always about securing control, protecting their ego, and managing their audience every single time. I know this is heavy, and I want to pause for just a second because honestly, putting this together for you, I felt it. I felt it right in my stomach. And if you're feeling that way too, that heaviness, I want you to know it's not a weakness on your part. That's recognition. That's your body confirming that this truth is what your mind has been talking you out of for a very long time. And if you're sitting there right now asking yourself, doubting yourself, why me? How did I get hooked like this? Let me tell you something else about my story, because I think it's going to resonate with you. When I took that job, I was on fire. I was eager. I wanted to deliver. I wanted to achieve. I wanted to make an impact and have it be recognized. And in the beginning, it was everything I hoped it would be. My boss loved my work, praised me constantly, brought me into the rooms I had never been in before, made me feel like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. That was not an accident. They didn't pick me despite my drive and competence. They picked me because of it. I was exactly what they were looking for. And what a narcissist is hunting when they are trying to identify their next target, there are traits that they actually look for. And because every single item on this list may be something that you are aware of or that you do or may be proud of, I want you to pay attention. Number one, high competence. They're looking for a bright light, someone who generates real results, real relationships, and real output, so they can attach themselves to you and take credit for your work. Number two, deep empathy. Someone who naturally tries to understand why people behave badly rather than immediately holding them accountable for it. You're watching this video, right? Number three, strong conscience. Someone who takes pride in doing the right thing and feels deeply responsible when something goes wrong, even when it was never your fault. Number four, flexible boundaries. Someone who struggles to say no and feels uncomfortable enforcing consequences when a line gets crossed. That is not a list of weaknesses. That is a list of extraordinary human qualities. And they knew exactly what they had found in you. The love bombing at the beginning, the praise, the access, the feeling of being chosen, that wasn't a mistake. That was the strategy. They saw your light, they needed it, and then they went to work bringing you in. So if you've been sitting there wondering what's wrong with you, why you stayed, why you believed them, why you didn't see it sooner, please stop. Nothing is wrong with you. You were targeted precisely because of how much is right with you. It's okay. I've been there a few times. So now that we see it, let's talk about you specifically. And here are 5 trait archetypes that often get hooked by toxic people. And I want to be incredibly clear on this. Every single one of these is a noble, admirable quality. The problem is never the trait itself, The problem is what happens when the trait operates without a firm boundary around it. Number one, the high achiever or overfunctioner. You're driven, you're accountable, you refuse to fail. So when things go sideways, you work harder, you stay later, and absorb more burden because failing is simply not an option for you. They know that and they weaponize it. Number two, the benefit of the doubt giver. You have high emotional intelligence. You believe in people. You give grace because you genuinely believe everyone has good in them. That is a beautiful gift. But when given endlessly and without evidence, it becomes an open door and a toxic person will walk right through. Number three, the people pleaser and conflict avoider. You value harmony. You can feel tension in a room before anyone even opens their mouth. And you will do almost anything to smooth it over because the discomfort of conflict feels unbearable to you. They create that tension on purpose, and then they watch you scramble to fix it. Speaking of the fix, number four, the fixer. You are solution oriented. You believe any problem can be solved with enough effort, clarity, and open communication. So you keep trying. You keep bringing your best thinking to a problem that was never meant to be solved. Because an unsolvable problem keeps you engaged and dependent on them. Number five, the self-reflector. You always look inside first. Again, here you are. You ask what you could have done differently. How could you have communicated better? Or whether you were actually part of the problem. And it is the exact strength gaslighting is designed to hijack. So which one are you? Probably a combination of more than one. I know I am. Your empathy is not wrong. It just needs a gatekeeper. Your high achievement is not wrong. It just shouldn't be used to cover for someone else's laziness or ego. And your benefit of the doubt is not wrong. It just needs to be earned, not given away endlessly to someone who has shown you exactly who they are. You didn't cause this, and you did not create this environment. The narcissist provides the seed, but your unguarded virtues, as beautiful as they are, provided the soil for it to grow. And here's where we start to shift and get the power back. When you understand that your competence, your empathy, and your drive are exactly what attracted them to you in the first place, I want your shame to disappear. Because this was never about your worth. It was never about your performance. It was always about their hunger. You were never the problem. You, my darling, are the prize. You came into this video maybe wondering if what you were experiencing was even real. I hope you're leaving it knowing without a shadow of a doubt that it is. It has a name, it has a playbook, and now you have both. So let's have a minute right here. If you saw yourself in any of these scenarios, make no mistake. You are in a toxic work environment. Please believe it. While you wait for the next video, I want you to take the self-sabotage quiz. It's linked below. Whether your style shows up as a people pleaser, a perfectionist, a procrastinator, or a control freak, every single one of those qualities has a unique blind spot. A blind spot that a toxic person will locate and weaponize against you. The quiz is going to help you pinpoint yours before they can use it against you. So go take it right now. It's a 2-minute quiz and the link is down below. And trust me, the next video is the one that you need to watch. It's called How to Leave a Toxic Work Environment Even If You Aren't Ready. In that video, I am giving you the step-by-step action plan to protect yourself, detach strategically, and move on your terms, not theirs. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, and I will see you in the next one. I hope this video was helpful. Please let me know in the comments.